Hello, my name is not John Green, it's Austin Ali, and welcome to Crash Course WHAP. I would call it Crash Course World History, but that name's already taken. We have 6 units and 3 essays to cover in this short period of time. You have your Ancient Period 1 in blue, Classical Period 2 in red, you have your Post-Classical Period 3 in green, you have your Colonial Period 4 in purple, you have your Modern Period 5 in light blue, and you have your 20th Century Period 6 in orange. If you look here at the percentage of the test, you'll notice it's split pretty equally between the essays and the multiple choice portions. You'll notice that the DBQ has the greatest percentage on the essays side, and you'll notice that Unit 3, Unit 4, Unit 5, and Unit 6 make up the largest portion on the multiple choice part. So, if you're cramming, I suggest starting at 600 CE or 1450 CE and focusing some time on writing DBQs. Let's have a look and see what each unit has to offer. So when you look at Unit 1, there are 3 important phases to the beginning of human society. Paleolithic, with the great migrations of all humans across the globe. Mesolithic, with the domestication of animals. Neolithic, with the development of agriculture and civilization. There are 6 hearths of civilization that we can discuss here in Crash Course. Mesopotamia, Egypt, the Indus River Valley, Shang China, Mesoamerica, the Andes Mountains. Aside from some pyramids and Hammurabi and agriculture questions, you don't really have to worry about this unit too much, so let's move on. And Unit 2, let's start in China. We have 3 important dynasties that took place here in China. We have the Zhou Dynasty. In Zhou China, we have some important things like feudalism. Feudalism is something that would take hold in places like China, Europe, and Japan. It's basically the rule of local leaders and highly decentralized. Another important thing about the Zhou was the birth of Confucius, who actually lived most of his life during the Warring States period in between the Zhou and our next dynasty, the Qin Dynasty. The Qin Dynasty was really one of those dynasties that was only ruled by one guy, or at least one important guy. His name was Huangdi. Mispronunciation is a thing here at Crash Course. So anyway, Shi Huangdi built the Great Wall of China and founded his political system of legalism, which is basically absolute monarchy. So if you'll notice, China went straight from feudalism to absolute monarchy. What's that, Stan? China went through those same changes just like Europe did? From feudalism to absolute monarchy? No way. The next dynasty in China was the Han, our typical classical China, the one that you'll have to compare with Rome on the CC essay, if you know what I'm saying. In the Han Dynasty, you see the spread of Confucianism and the beginning of really what makes China, China. The civil service systems and bureaucracy and all that. That really started in the Han Dynasty. If you look in the classical period over in the Middle East, you can see the Persian empires forming. Those are important. Know them. Let's see, Persia. Here's what you need to know about Persia. It fought some wars with Greece, and the development of Zoroastrianism took place there. Zoroastrianism had influence on the Jews, Christians, and Muslims with its morality beliefs. If you take a look at Africa during this time, really what's going on is the Bantu migrations. Know that. If you look at Mesoamerica right now, you have first the Olmecs, which are considered the ancient Mesoamericans, and then the Mayas, which are more classical. If you look at South America, you have the Chimu civilization taking place. If you take a look at classical India right now, you have 2 important dynasties. The Maurya, started by Chandragupta Maurya, and the Gupta, started by Chandragupta. Confusing, I know. Here you see in India the growth of some very important religions. One of them, Hinduism, is one of the world's most oldest religions, focusing on polytheism or monotheism, depending on how you view it. Hinduism gave birth to another religion known as Buddhism. Buddhism spread across Asia rapidly as it was a universalizing religion, just like Christianity and Islam. We have India to thank for the concept of zero, which I will reference John Green's open letter right now. If we look at what's going on in Europe right now, we have Greece. Greece is famous for its largest city, Athens, and its policy of democracy. Athens was so democratic that about 5% of all the population could vote for free. Another group of people you see here in Europe is the Hellenistic Empire, started by Alexander the Great of Macedonia, who captured a lot of land and defeated the Persians. The next group of people in Europe were the ancient Romans, and the Romans were a massive empire taking up both Western and Eastern Europe all the way until 476 BC. The Romans were awesome. We got some of our principles of government from the Romans and a lot of architecture. Just letting you know, the Romans got that architecture from the Greeks, and their religion, and some of their territory. Mr. Ali, what about the decline of the classical civilizations? That's a good question, me from the same shirt, not so distant past. The classical civilizations declined in very similar ways. If you'll remember from the movie Mulan, the classical empires declined from the invasions of the Huns. The Huns, or barbarians, were the people who did not live in civilizations. They were nomads, and they took the center stage in later phases of history. If you'll remember, the Mongols. So after the classical empires declined, we get into what we call the post-classical period. Post-classical China had 5 important dynasties that we should talk about. The Suede Dynasty, a very small and almost insignificant period in Chinese history that was basically a transition into the greater Tang Dynasty. The Tang Dynasty encompassed a large area of land in China surrounding the Silk Road. The Silk Road was a trade network established during the classical period, originally between Han China and classical Rome. After the fall of Rome, the Silk Road also fell. At this time, the Tang Dynasty traded with the Middle East instead of Europe. Moving right along, we come into the Song Dynasty, or should I say, Dynasty Song.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Sheng Zhou Qin Han, Sheng Zhou Qin Han, Sui Tang Song, Sui Tang Song, Yangming Qing Republic, Mao Zedong Day, Mao Zedong Day.